They say blood is thicker than water, but no one ever talks about what happens when blood poisons everything it touches. My name is Camille Hartley, and for most of my life, I believed my older brother, Daniel, was the only person in our family I could trust. Our parents, Raymond and Elise, were powerful but cold, the kind of people who measured love by achievement and status. We grew up in a pristine mansion in Northern Virginia, surrounded by expensive silence and expectations so heavy they choked us. Daniel and I would hide in the attic when we were little, telling each other stories about how we'd escape someday. But when I turned 19, things changed. I was accepted into an art program in Oregon, and my parents cut me off. No tuition, no help, just a cold letter from my father that said, "We don't fund fantasies." Daniel stayed behind and joined the family law firm, Hartley and Associates. I thought he was different, kinder, smarter, my ally. But I didn't know then what he was hiding. For years, I struggled, working 3 jobs, selling paintings on the street, scraping by. I hadn't spoken to my parents in almost a decade when I received a call from their estate lawyer. My parents had died in a car crash on their way to a political fundraiser. I was stunned. The lawyer said the will was clear. Everything had been left to Daniel. Everything. The house, the accounts, the company, even the antique art collection that had once belonged to our grandmother. I was listed only once, a single sentence, to Camille Hartley, "No further claims shall be recognized." I felt like I'd been erased. I called Daniel, and he answered with a voice I didn't recognize. Cold. Distant. "You left, Camille. You chose art over family. You made your decision." That's when I knew. He'd been planning this for years. The law firm had groomed him to take over, and he'd been feeding my parents doubts about me since I left. But I didn't want the money. I wanted the truth. And revenge, if it came, would be a bonus. I flew back to Virginia and stayed with a friend. I started by requesting the probate records. Everything looked legal, too legal. Perfectly timed transfers. Power of attorney paperwork dated just weeks before their deaths. And then I saw something strange. My parents' signatures on the new will looked identical to ones on file from a decade earlier. A forensic handwriting expert confirmed my suspicion. The signatures were copied digitally and pasted into the new documents. A forgery. I couldn't go to the authorities yet. I needed more. I reconnected with Margaret, our family's longtime housekeeper, who had been quietly dismissed a month before the accident. She told me that Daniel had hosted a private meeting with our parents and a man she didn't recognize, a tech consultant. She said something felt off. Your mother was crying afterward. I tracked down the consultant through social media. His name was Ryan Delcourt. I posed as a journalist doing a story on digital estate fraud and offered him $2,000 for an anonymous interview. He cracked in 30 minutes. He admitted Daniel had paid him to replicate signatures and timestamps on legal documents, making them appear as though they had been updated months earlier. I recorded the conversation. Now I had leverage. But I needed to dismantle him publicly. I reached out to a local investigative journalist who specialized in white-collar crime. I gave her everything, the forged will, the audio, the financial records. Then I went one step further. I filed a civil suit for inheritance fraud. When the article dropped, it exploded. Prominent Virginia attorney accused of forging parents' will. Daniel tried to deny everything, but the court ordered an injunction. His accounts were frozen. He was removed as managing partner of the law firm. The board turned on him to protect their reputation. He tried to contact me once, but I didn't answer. In court, he looked small, the brother who used to tell me bedtime stories now sinking under cross-examination. The judge ruled in my favor. The will was invalidated. Half the estate was restored to me, including the Hartley art collection. I auctioned most of it and donated the proceeds to young artists who had been cut off like me. But I kept one piece, a charcoal sketch of a girl climbing out of a window, drawn by my grandmother. It hangs in my studio now, a reminder that escaping doesn't mean forgetting. It means returning stronger. Daniel was disbarred and now works in a legal call center in another state. I don't hate him, I just don't speak his language anymore. Family isn't who you're born to. Sometimes, it's who you fight to become in spite of them. If you believe truth belongs to the ones who never stop asking questions, hit like and subscribe. We bring you real feeling stories every day, where silence never wins, and the comeback always speaks louder.